Hello and welcome to another episode of Brew Time with me, Vincent Hung. I'm filming this video as a note to my younger self. Now, whilst I know I can't go back and change the last 10 years of my life, I can document these 5 things to keep track of what I've learned so far. Now, hindsight is a wonderful thing. If I knew what I knew today, 10 years ago, I probably would have made some different decisions and lived life a different way. And this is why I decided to film this video and share these 5 things with you to see if you can learn something from this too. The first thing that I learned is schools, universities, doing coursework, taking exams, everything that you've experienced up until you graduate from university doesn't actually teach you about life. Throughout our education, we take exams and we're graded on this one exam which determines how we've done throughout the complete year. I don't know about you, but I would learn very little throughout the complete year, and then a few weeks before the exam, I'll cram all the knowledge in just to study for this 3-hour test. And because I've crammed all my knowledge in within a few weeks of the exam, and most of the time I do several exams in the exam period, the knowledge that I gained leaves my head just as quickly. I can't see how this way of learning is relevant to real life. When would I ever need to cram a whole year's worth of learning for one particular subject into a 3-hour period where I have to regurgitate everything that I know onto a piece of paper? Never. So the first thing that I learned is the way we learn in school and university doesn't actually set us up for succeeding in life. The second thing I wish I knew sooner is working hard and getting good grades at school doesn't actually make you more successful. You see, my parents always told me when I was young that if I worked hard, get good grades, I'll become successful. And when I was young, I believed that. So I was that geeky Asian kid working hard, thinking that if I put in the effort now and learn everything there is to learn, then when I graduate, I'll become a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. Oh, how wrong was I? You see, back then I thought that success was directly correlated to how much money you make, and how much money you make is directly correlated to how hard you work, and hence the harder you work, the more money you get, the more successful you'll be. Simple, isn't it? However, I found out that in life there are many other factors that cannot be graded that makes a person successful. For instance, if you take person A, he works 15 hours a day and even sometimes on weekends, but he earns a 6-figure salary. Would you consider him to be successful? And let's take another person. He works only 4 days a week on an average salary. However, on the day off, he works on a passion project. Would you consider him to be successful? You see, what I found out is success means many things to many people. And now that I know that success isn't directly correlated to the size of my paycheck, that has made me chase a different dream. The third thing that I wish I knew sooner is getting a job when you come out of university isn't your only option. You see, when I came out of university, the first thing that I did was grab the alumni magazine and go through every page and pick out every company where I can get an engineering job or any job. Of course, it's only now that I realize getting an engineering job or getting a job full stop isn't my only option. There are so many opportunities out there, I just needed to look. And all I needed to do was step out of my comfort zone, and there are actually a lot more opportunities than my mind thought there was. If I were to go back now, I probably would have done things a bit differently actually. Maybe coming out of university I would have started a business to see where that could go. But that day has come and gone. The fourth lesson is, the subjects that I picked at school and for university, which I thought were useful, aren't actually that useful in everyday life. So for A-level I studied maths, physics, chemistry and psychology. And when I was picking those subjects, I remember thinking, these should be useful for my future career path. I then went to university to study engineering with business finance. And I thought to myself, surely these two together would make me the next Toto Wolff. But now, 10 years down the line, I'm not sure any of what I learned at university or during my A-levels is useful for my everyday life. However, what is important is the soft skills that I picked up on the way. So when I was 11 to 18, I went to boarding school, and what that taught me was how to live independently, how to live and get along with different people. And more importantly, it taught me about who I was as a person. And at university, I met a lot of different people. I learnt about their cultures. And it's this experience and this knowledge that really makes me who I am today. And it also taught me how to manage my time to get the best possible experience from university. So what I learned from all of this is it's not what I learned in the classroom that's important, but it's what I learned outside the classroom that's more important to me and my everyday life. The fifth and final lesson is don't always listen to your elders or your teachers. They don't always know what's best for you. The best thing to do is to take on board what they say and then figure out what's the best decision or the best course of action for you. You see, when I was young, I always thought that anyone older than me had their shit figured out. However, it's only as I got older and I met more people, discovered new things and asked more questions that I realized that most people only know the norm, and what they do is they assume that the norm is what's best. What I realize is that's not always the case. So what I've learned is to trust my own judgment and make my own decisions based on what I know. I don't always get things right, but whenever I make a decision, it's always a learning experience. And I know that when things get tough or if things are tough, I'll have the experience to figure things out and make things right again. So that concludes the 5 things that I wish I knew sooner about education. I hope you found that useful and a little bit entertaining, and I hope to see you on my next episode.